This is K2 News at 5 on your side.
You look at what's happened with Portland over the years, it's a burning hellhole, and then you have a judge that lost her way, that tries to pretend that like there's no problem. Actually, she's not even saying that. There's a huge problem in Portland. I'll tell you what the problem is: crime.
Now at 5, President Trump once again blasting Portland after a federal judge blocked the deployment of National Guard troops to the city. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals now deciding whether to uphold that order. The troops were set to be deployed to the ICE facility on Portland's south waterfront, now in the spotlight. Protesters have been outside the facility for months. Most of the time, things have been peaceful, but in recent weeks, there's been a dramatic shift. Protesters and federal agents have increasingly clashed with and blamed each other for being the aggressor. The judge's ruling just the latest twist in a saga that continues to get more complicated. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. We are on your side with live team coverage on what you need to know right now. K2's Wright Gasaway is tracking the latest on a potential legal deployment. K2's Shelby Slaughter is outside the ICE facility with what's happening there tonight.
First of all, K2's Tanvi Verma and new information on a conservative influencer arrested by Portland police. This made national news on Friday. And Tanvi, that influencer claims PPB has a vendetta against conservatives.
That's right, Steve. Nick Sorter says the legal battle is not over yet, and he's bringing his allegations to a federal court. I do want to show you some video that actually captured what led up to the arrest of Sorter. Sorter and two others, Angela Davis and Son Mi Yi, were all arrested for disorderly conduct. You can see Sorter walking to the sidewalk when some sort of verbal confrontation happens between him and a person dressed in all black. The Multnomah County District Attorney's Office says Yi used an open umbrella to push Sorter. Then Sorter pulls the umbrella out of her hands. Then the DA's office says the crowd converges on Sorter, adding that it appears Davis swung something at him. Then Lee pushes him into a drainage opening and a crowd surrounds him.
I should never have been arrested. I should never have been put through the ringer. And I shouldn't have the chief of police on TV slandering me during the day. Instead, he should be focused on pulling the rot out of his police department. And maybe this will make him think twice about, I don't know, the direction that the department's going.
As for Angela Lynn Davis, she has pleaded not guilty. She's not allowed to be within 4 blocks of the ICE facility. Son Mi Yi has also pleaded not guilty. As for allegations against the Portland Police Department, in a statement, Portland Police Chief Bob Day says they are solely guided by the law and not by any politics or personal characteristics. And we spoke with Nick Sorter quite a bit to see more of our conversation, including what he says he's been talking to the Attorney General Pam Bondi about. You can go to our website at k2.com. Reporting live in downtown, Tanvi Verma, K2 News.
Tanvi, thank you. We want to continue our team coverage now by going to K2's Shelby Slaughter, who's live outside the ICE facility.
And Shelby, you've been there for hours now. What are you seeing behind you?
Well, Steve and Deb, for starters, as people start to get off work, traffic is really starting to pick up here. But I do want to show you here what's going on behind me. Now, we do have ICE supporters here and ICE protesters here. And there are 3 Portland police officers here as well. And I don't know if you can see it because some of the cars are blocking it, but we do have some oranges on the ground. That's because just before we came on, we watched as someone was throwing oranges at ICE supporters at them from their balcony. Now, counter-protesters did arrive here at the ICE facility and raised some tensions a bit. During my conversations with them, they tell me they are grateful for the work ICE agents are doing, and they say the protests surrounding these buildings are just causing disruptions. Now, despite the loud music and plumes of sage smoke I saw earlier, people have been riding their bikes in the area, even walking their dogs. I also spoke with protesters who say they're out here to push back on federal immigration policy. Take a listen at what both sides had to say.
I don't want to see my community members being taken without due process, and that's being done throughout the country, and I think it's messed up.
I believe that we should be able to deport illegal criminals, especially the ones that are coming here selling drugs, harming our women, yeah, just causing chaos, you know, just like all these people out here are right now.
Now, during the day, I will note I have seen at least 3 police officers. I did see 1 earlier, so 4 in total today. From my perspective, the officer just stayed on the sidewalk like the ones are doing right now. And I also want to note here, this is the busiest I have seen this area on a weekday in the past several weeks. And again, you know, work really is getting off now, so people are driving by, they want to check it out for themselves, and even coming out and either supporting or protesting what is going on out here. For now, reporting live in South Portland, I'm Shelby Slaughter, K2 News.
All right, keep us posted out there, Shelby. Thank you. And turning now to that judge's ruling blocking the deployment of the National Guard.
This is not a done deal. As we mentioned earlier, it's now up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on whether the federal government can proceed with its plan. This comes after a back and forth over the weekend with the president deploying the National Guard to multiple states and Judge Karen Emmergut repeatedly blocking them. After the Texas National Guard was deployed to Portland, she blocked National Guard troops from any state from being sent to Oregon, and that order ends in 2 weeks unless it's extended. A hearing set on October 17th will decide that. Continuing our team coverage now as we track where things go from here.
Yeah, there are 2 things happening at once now. The lawsuit on the deployment itself and now the appeal of the restraining order that blocks the deployment. K2's Wright Gazaway joins us from the live desk to explain all this, right?
Steve and Deb, the Trump administration has asked the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to essentially throw out the restraining order while the case plays out. That would allow the president to deploy National Guard troops right away. I spoke to constitutional law professor Tung Yin to break down the Ninth Circuit's role in the appeal process for that restraining order.
If they think the government has a strong argument that, hey, this injunction, this TRO is actually going to harm the public interest because we can't protect the federal building and it'll be damaged and so on. If the Ninth Circuit thought that was the case, then they might want to act really quickly to stay the TRO.
Person for the Ninth Circuit said there's no timeline on a decision. Yin says the circuit court could also deny the federal government's request. At the same time, the original lawsuit over the deployment will go through the district court. That could take a long time. There are oral arguments scheduled for the end of this month in district court. There are events and deadlines scheduled through early next year as well. Eventually, the district judge will rule on the lawsuit. Generally, Tung Yin says these cases can take months or even a year plus to be decided. That's why both sides likely want to win their argument on the restraining order issue. If the Trump administration wins, the National Guard could be deployed that whole time. At the live desk, Wright Gazaway, K2 News.
Thank you, Wright. As we have reported, organizers behind the World Naked Bike Ride Portland are planning an emergency ride in response to the president's push for a National Guard deployment here. Today, we've learned that protest will take place Sunday, October 12th at 2:30 p.m. On Instagram, organizers say they plan to share the ride's starting point Friday, but will not be sharing the route. Quote, "We ride to protest the militarization of our city." Stay with K2 News for continuing coverage as the president continues to push for a crackdown in Portland and city and state leaders continue to push back. When we're not on air, you can find the latest on KATU.com and the K2 News app free in your app store. Also tonight, officials working to assess the damage after someone broke into Washington State Capitol, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake.
That suspect allegedly armed with 2 hammers. This happened last night. Washington State troopers say the man parked on the flower beds outside the legislative building, then broke in through a ground floor office window. They say he then destroyed card readers, hand sanitizers, vandalized flags and statues, and finally started a fire in the state reception room. Troopers arrested him as he was leaving. Investigators believe he was having some sort of mental health crisis. In a statement, Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck pointed to an increase in violence with the politic rhetoric and actual violence in recent years, saying we must all do our part to turn down the temperature, in part saying, quote, "Violent rhetoric, property destruction, and violence against individuals are a cancer on our democratic society."
Also tonight, a teen girl faces charges in Vancouver accused of strangling a woman to death. Clark County deputies say this happened just after midnight this morning on Northeast 54th Avenue. Witnesses reported the attack. Deputies arrested the 17-year-old at a nearby home. They say the teen appeared to be under the influence and was uncooperative with law enforcement. They also say she knew the victim. We're working to confirm the name of that victim.
Also developing tonight, a homicide investigation in downtown Portland. Portland police say it started out as a medical call. They responded to the hospital around 9 o'clock last night, determining the victim had been assaulted about an hour earlier on Southwest 4th Avenue between Oak and Harvey Milk Streets. That victim died a few hours later. Police have not shared their name or any details about a potential suspect, but they are asking anyone with information to give them a call. Meanwhile, we reached out to police to see where Portland stands in terms of homicides this year, and according to the latest unofficial count, homicides are still significantly down. The city has seen 34 homicides so far. That's compared to 60 this time last year.
Well, take a look at this. This was all caught on camera here. Quite the traffic mess in Canby. Tonight, Barlow Road at Highway 99 is back open after a Union Pacific train collided with a log truck. Happened this morning, sparking an hours-long cleanup. Canby Fire says nobody was hurt.
New tonight, advanced robotics and artificial intelligence. Those are just two things Amazon says will help its new fulfillment center run smoothly in Woodburn. Katu got a tour of the new PDX 8 building this morning, the largest fulfillment center in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. The company says nearly 4 million square foot size represents a $500 million investment in Oregon and will employ up to 3,500 people during peak season. Oregon Democratic Representative Andrea Salinas was at the event today. She acknowledged there may be some nerves among the Woodburn community when it comes to robotics and AI.
What does it mean to, especially to have something where robotics is a big part of it, right? But I think if folks understand what it would mean to reduce injuries, as well as these are new jobs, right? So they're not replacing jobs that already exist.
She believes the new facility will have a ripple effect for the Willamette Valley. Let's take a live look now at our camera from the Stoller family estate in Dayton, where new at 5 some news wine lovers can raise a glass too.
Yeah, McMinnville Properties has broken ground on a new hotel, and according to Stoller Wine Group, that new Marriott AC Retreat will usher in a bold new chapter of hospitality to Oregon wine country. The 5-story, 118-room hotel will be located at the Evergreen campus in McMinnville. It'll offer amenities like a lobby bar, outdoor pool, gym, and plenty of vineyard views from private terraces to a yoga platform and 5th floor lounge and wine room, all slated to open in May of 27.
Well, we know this is a destination place for so many people. Before we get to that forecast, we want to remember that the first supermoon of the year peaks tonight. Harvest moon will be visible into early tomorrow morning. The night sky event is actually the first of 3 back-to-back supermoons this year. A supermoon happens when the moon reaches its nearest point to the Earth, making it look larger and fuller, and it gets its name because it's the full moon closest to the first day of fall. We want to see your pictures of the super harvest moon. Scan the QR code on your screen, go to Katu.com, click on the Chime In tab. They may even end up on our air.
Hey, Vasily Varlamos is here. Someone said to me just a few minutes ago, boy, what a nice day. And I said, I haven't been outside all day long.
You haven't been outside?
I have not been outside, so I assume it is nice out there.
Yeah, you got to check it out. It's above average temperatures right now, also crystal clear skies, and we'll see those clear skies overnight as well, which is going to give us a great view of that super harvest moon. As Deb just said, it is the brightest it's going to be and the closest that it is to the Earth this year. So it's sitting at about, it's going to be about 2,200,000 miles away from the, or 222,000 miles away from Earth, and we are going to be about 8% larger and 16% brighter than it normally is. So it should be a pretty sight tonight and a pretty sight right now as well. We're seeing some clear skies over our forecast area. Temperatures, as I said, above average. We're sitting at about 77 degrees right now in Portland. A little bit breezy out there right now. Wind speed sitting between 10 to 15 miles an hour. And top 3 things you should know this week: we are going to see some sunshine through Tuesday, but as we head into Wednesday, expect some increasing cloud cover ahead of a low pressure system that should bring us some showers towards the end of the work weekend. Expect those showers to stick around as we head into the weekend. Another thing to note too is some chilly evenings ahead of us. Low temperatures going to be below average for this time of year throughout much of this weekend. Over in the upper Hood River Valley area, they are going to have a frost advisory take effect at 1 a.m. tonight, and that'll stick around into the later hours of tomorrow morning. So if you have any plants that are sensitive to those those colder temperatures and frost, definitely want to bring those inside tonight, and you'll definitely want to think about bringing those inside over the next few nights, because again, those low temperatures going to remain below average. We'll see low temperatures tonight in the mid-50s around the Portland area. Temperatures should jump up into the upper 70s tomorrow, but we're going to cool right back down and possibly into the low 50s and even the upper 40s as we head into Wednesday morning. But as I said, those high temperatures, we're looking at a high of 78 degrees in Portland, 77 going to be the high in Salem. They may even reach the 80s down in Eugene tomorrow. Out on the coast, they're looking at highs in the upper 60s to low 70s, and 74 going to be the high in Hood River. Then moving over to the eastern side of the state, we're looking at highs in the mid-60s in LeGrand and Baker City, 70 going to be the high in Pendleton, and 72 looking like the high in the Dalles. We'll see the warmest day tomorrow. Temperature is going to be jumping up into the upper 70s, which is about 10 degrees above average for this time of year, but we'll see a major temperature drop from Tuesday into Wednesday as we have some cooler air move in from the Pacific. Those temperatures going to drop about 15 degrees from Tuesday to Wednesday down into the low 60s. Temperatures will remain in the low to mid 60s throughout the rest of the work week and through the weekend. We do have a chance of seeing a few showers on both Thursday and Friday, but our best chance of rain is going to be over the weekend. As I said, those low temperatures going to be in the mid to upper 40s throughout much of this week. We should see those conditions start to dry out as we head into Monday. Could see a few leftover showers. Look for partly cloudy skies and a high of 63 degrees on Monday.
Thanks, Vasily. Appreciate it.
Well, a live look now. Let's take a look at the Moda Center as the Portland Trailblazers tip off their preseason this week.
It's here already. Can you believe it, Deb? They'll take on the Warriors in San Francisco on Wednesday before hosting the Kings on Friday. And tomorrow, Katu News will get a sneak preview at all the new food and drink available to fans at Moda this year. You're looking at video from previous years. We expect to see the staples like burgers, pizza, and beer, as well as new additions like Cajun Fusion. Our sports team will bring you those mouth-watering details right here on K2. And be sure to stay with K2 for continuing coverage as the new season gets underway. Watch Blazers games on Rip City TV Network. That's our secondary channel, KUNP. The first game of the regular season is October 22nd. The Blazers will host the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, finally trending tonight, thousands of runners put their endurance to the test yesterday for the annual Portland Marathon. Among them, actress Issa Rae, and it appears she did it with a weighted vest. She posted on Instagram saying she completed the marathon just over 26 miles in 4 hours, 16 minutes. She celebrated in a fittingly Portland way with some voodoo donuts, of course.
You run 26 miles, you have earned
a couple.
A couple at least.
No kidding.
Thanks for joining us for the special digital edition of K2 News. Monday Night Football is on right now. Stick around after the game for a special preseason preview of the Portland Trailblazers.